Well, good morning. We have 8:01, so we'll go ahead and get going here this morning. Want to welcome everybody to the first of the Legend Tech Talks. It's a cold, blistery day outside, but at least where I am, southern Minnesota, but wind is calm, so and the sun's starting to get a little more power and be out a little bit longer, so that's good. So it's good that we kind of turn our attention and start thinking about the seed treatment side of things here a little bit, and just want to kind of go over and give a refresher on the Legend Seeds offerings for seed treatment. We'll touch on corn and soybeans. I guess just house rules. If you do have some questions, welcome those. Up on the top of your toolbar, there's a little hand symbol up there right by the smiley face, right to the left of the smiley face. If you click on that, it'll raise your hand and I can call on you. Otherwise, too, you can put them in over to the far left. There's a chat icon. You can type your question into there. Otherwise, too, at the end, we'll take questions. You can unmute and ask your questions then as well, also. But if there is something that you have while we're on it and you don't want to forget it, just raise your hand or type it into the chat box and we'll be sure to keep an eye on that and take care of that. So we are recording the call here this morning, so just a heads up on that. But yeah, no, welcome everybody and thank you for jumping on here. Looks like we got a few more here right now, so that's good. So we're going to go ahead and get going. And again, Steven Ressler, product manager for Legend Seeds. Been with Legend for going on 13 years now, and do work on the seed treatment side. We kind of go through, we did some new stuff here this year we'll touch on, and the agronomist and everybody's involved to a point, but the agronomist especially when we're testing new products, and then Bob Lee on the office side as far as helping manage inventory and ordering and that kind of stuff, and making sure that work orders are in and when we start treating products. So we'll jump into it here this morning. And again, like we always like to start with Legend Seeds, the mission and the vision here. Legend Seeds is dedicated to providing high-yielding, consistent producing, top-quality products that will provide you with more profit potential that you can get anywhere else. That is number one, our goal within Legend Seeds, right? To find and provide the best products we can. And we take the same model there or path there with the seed treatment side of what is going to be the best product out there as far as premium product. That also, I mean, we look at everything. Agronomics, the quality of the product, the price point of it, everything that we can bring to you as a customer or the dealer, to further enhance and protect the investment into the seed that we have. So what are seed treatments? So just briefly here, seed treatments are they're the protection, right? The protective coatings applied to seeds to help prevent disease, pest damage, improve germination rates, enhance early plant growth and vigor, at times provide nutrient boost, and just protect against the environmental stress factors out there. In corn, it comes standard. Beans we'll talk about a little bit here too, where obviously a lot of times on the soybeans, obviously that's not a standard, doesn't come mandatory, right? Standard practice for a lot of people. But we'll get into kind of, why, looking at this last year, some of the things that we saw this last year, that proved a lot of these to us, especially germination rates and some other stuff there, but number definitely on the disease side and pest. Again, so just some of the benefits, the protection, preventing seedling disease and the pest infestations. I mean, when we get that seed on the ground, I've heard, and many of you probably have heard too, the average farmer has, I think, 35 opportunities to plant a crop, right? So when we do that, we want to get it right. And that's from everything, whether it's, obviously picking the right seed product, the hybrid or the variety of soybeans, having your tillage done properly, your planting speed, your accuracy, everything done right. But sometimes just that really cheap investment that can be cheap at sometimes and provide a huge ROI of the seed treatment is huge, right? Because number one there, right? Seedling disease and pest infestations. We want to get that seed out of the ground as healthy and as well as we can to get the best stand that we can, because we all know that window right there is what sets us up for success, the next 4 or 5 months down the road until we get to harvest. Germination and growth. Obviously, like I said, helps seed sprout, in less than ideal conditions. It's not a license to go out and plant in 35-degree weather just because it was dry and fit and we got cold rain coming. It's not a license to do that. But when we hit those periods of unknown stress or time, whether it is cooler seasons or maybe a little bit of prolonged wetness, whatever it may be, it's definitely going to help us get through that. Yield potential. Healthier plant, like we mentioned, healthier plants lead to better overall crop yield. 100%, right? Doesn't matter what it is, if it's livestock, kids, us, anything, right? Plants, the healthier plant's going to do better. Every day that it has a poor day, we're just going to take a little bit off the top each time, right? Again, we've heard the old analogy when that seed's in the bag, the potential of that bag of corn, might be 500-600 bushel an acre, right? And as soon as we pull that string and open it, or open the hard box, we change that, right? It alters from there. So again, the healthiest plant from day one is going to have the best potential at the end of the day to have the biggest yield for us. And cost effective, reduces the need for expensive pesticides and additional treatments, right? And then that's, there's a lot of unforeseens there, what's going to happen in the weather and the year. But again, there's a lot of that if we do it right, if we do it right from the get-go, it's going to help us down the road a lot there, and definitely can reduce the need for another treatment of something down the road or another pesticide or whatever it might be, right? So we'll talk about corn treatment here a little bit, and if any of you were at our plots or meetings this summer or kickoffs and that kind of stuff, this is just the baseline corn treatment package that we'll go through here today a little bit and touch on. PMZ, a new product that we'll touch on, that's replacing Quick Roots Force, Viantis, Cruiser Max Vibrance, Acceleron 250. So a lot of words on here, and this is kind of what you'll see if you're in the product guide or online here, what it includes, right? And I don't want to read these verbatim, but PMZ is a dry seed nutritional. Again, it helps improve early root development and plant vigor, helping get that nutrition right away from the get-go. Going to have a better stand for sure with it. We'll talk about that in some of the pictures that we have here. Again, really good product. Excited to have this in the lineup. Again, it is replacing the Quick Roots, and we'll talk a little bit more about Quick Roots. And this year is a transition year. What you'll see in the product guide yet, as we go into the next few slides. Viantis, to me, and a lot of the agronomists, or all the agronomists we have on staff, fungicide seed treatment, the best Pythium protection than anything out there in the industry, right? We believe in it 100%, and we'll kind of prove that here as we go forward. But when it comes to Pythium, that thing is number one. Cruiser Max Vibrance is our base seed treatment, and that's on our corn, and that's our insecticide fungicide based treatment on the corn. Acceleron 250, same, somewhat similar to the Cruiser Max Vibrance, but Acceleron is the insecticide fungicide package that's on all the Bayer traded corn. So all the Bayer traded corn has Acceleron 250 plus Viantis, again, because we believe in Viantis so much and the ability to help with Pythium, that it is part of the Acceleron package on all the Bayer traded stuff. Everything else will have Cruiser Max Vibrance on it, and then the PMZ will be coming standard across everything too, and we'll talk about how this year is a transition a little bit on that. We're going to jump into the PMZ here right away, and this is some of the stuff that we did this last year. Again, PMC seed nutritional on the left there, regular just health graphite on the right? So this is some stock photos. We have some other stuff here and some data up against our Quick Roots here. But again, and this is very similar to what we saw this spring across a lot of our field demos. Just a bigger plant, usually a stage ahead a lot of times. But again, look at the root mass, right? We get a plant that this size here, we're looking at V4 to V5. When we start looking at that kind of root mass and the fine root hairs that are coming off of it, again, our nutritional uptake is just going to be that much greater. And again, as we talked earlier, the plant that's going to be the healthiest and the strongest from the get-go is going to set the stage way better for down the road, right? We're V4, V5 here. We're going to set kernel rows around. So, any of us, right, you look at those two and you say, okay, which one do you want to have? Especially when we're coming into the period of where we're going to set kernel rows around, right? It's going to give us that opportunity to hopefully maybe pick up them 2 extra kernel rows around that we might not have had, right? So again, just better, bigger roots, more vigorous plant health there. And again, when we saw this spring, so what we did this spring is we took 2 commercial lots, a 99-day and an 89-day, and we put them out there, and that's where some of this data comes from. Early on in the spring, what we saw hands down, side by side across all locations, and we were spread from north to south of Minnesota into South Dakota and Wisconsin primarily is where we had this the plots that we had observations on. We were basically stand count 2,000 to 3,000. So this was PMZ against Quick Roots. We were 2,000 to 3,000 better on our stand count, and we were. Yep, and Jeremy, I saw your text there. So this the first one was not our stuff that we did was all against Quick Roots, and again, so we were 2,000 to 3,000 better with PMZ versus Quick Roots, and then of that same stand where the Quick Roots were, we had basically 1,000 plants per acre that were one or more color behind than the contemporary row. With PMZ, we basically had, I mean, it was such small number statistically, it was 0. The plant or the emergence was that even coming out of the ground, so we were just that much better. So we had a better stand, plus we were even. So this year comparison is, again, the commercial lot. This is primarily the 89 day in this set here, where it was, and this was all field data, so coming out of whole fields, side by side, so treated with PMZ. Then the check was treated with the Quick Roots. So our standard treatment that we've had for years, or today, in last year. So again, average moisture was the same, didn't have any effect on moisture, but again, the yield with PMZ 210 on the average across these checks. Without PMZ, 205.5. So 4.5 bushel increase. Are we going to see that every time? Obviously there's a lot of things, environmental factors out there that are going to happen out there. But from most of the data that we saw prior to launching PMZ and then our other data and then this, that has been kind of the standard, that 2 to 4 bushel that has been there. Going back to this here. So, and again, you asked, so we are, just to talk quickly on, for those that are, if you're our Legend dealer, employee, or customer, PMZ will come standard on everything. So it's going to, like, as we said before, as I mentioned, it'll replace Quick Roots. So Quick Roots is going to go away. We had some inventory yet to clean up of packaging of Quick Roots. So we're going to use that up this year. So you're still going to see Quick Roots on some of the corn, and any of the carryover inventory that we had will have Quick Roots on it. PMZ on anything new basically this year. So a lot of the new production, it's kind of safe to say not all, but a lot of the new production will have PMZ. As we go forward, basically then next year will be probably close to that 90-95% of everything that'll have PMZ on it. So again, not a change in price due to it. It's just we're taking one out, bringing something new in that we feel is better. Quick Roots has been extremely good to us for a lot of years. But we've been kind of looking to see once what, just as technology and advancements happen out there, what we can find that's going to be better and do similar things, but yet be a little bit better on the yield and the plant vigor side. The other plus to this, this is a one and done. When we put it on the seed, we don't have to over-treat it after 18 months, where Quick Roots we did. So don't have to handle that seed again. Don't have to put more onto it. So definitely a big win there too as we go forward on that side with corn. Okay, so we're going to jump into the soybean side here a little bit. Again, a little bit more stuff going on the bottom there. As always, we've had our YP Pro, our YP Basic, Rhizolic Top, which is inoculant, Soy Effects, our biological seed treatment that we have out there, Sultro for SDS and cyst, and then just the Syngenta Seed Care logo there too that we have. Is a lot of this is powered by from the Syngenta side of things. So if you ask yourself, do I need seed treatment on soybeans, right? Like, it's going to be early, it's a little bit later and it's going to be warm out there. Do I need to put a treatment on them? Right. And we run into that, right? I mean, depending on the year, and sometimes, yeah, like I can get behind that and say, well, okay, it's a little bit later, it's dry, it's warm, the weather pattern looks good for the foreseeable future. Maybe you don't need to spend the dollars, right? If you don't want to. This year, obviously, with all the rain we had and moisture we had, and it doesn't matter where you were, it pretty much was across our entire footprint of the upper Midwest here. We had a huge impact on that seedling vigor and just viability from the get-go, and then the disease that set in early on too. And that's the thing we got to remember, whether it's corn or soybeans, when we see disease set in down the road, whether it's brown stem rot or crown rot in corn, or you pick your poison or SDS, especially SDS and other stuff, that stuff didn't, when we see it, that's not when it came into the plant. A lot of times that all started when the plant was little. The host, the plant was the host, the inoculum or the pathogen, whatever it was, got into the seed or the plant at an early stage of its life. But it doesn't always, like I said, it doesn't usually show up until later. The symptoms or the signs don't show up till later, but it started early on. So that's where we got to remember, we got, this stuff started early, and we go back to the talk about, we gotta start healthy. We always talk about weeds, right? We got to stay clean, start clean and stay clean. We got to start healthy and stay healthy, right? So this plot is ranked 1 through 10 on yield. So take that into account, but these are side by side in the field. So if you look up here, our 16Es, great bean, everybody should be planting them. Unless you're planting 005, then maybe you can. But if you can take a 1.6, everybody should be planting this one. Okay, side by side, the 1.6 down here, 48 bushel compared to 66. Okay. Now this is kind of a stark difference, right? And I could have pulled some more yield data and dug around. I'm not going to tell you that every time you're going to see, what is that, 17, 18 bushel there every time. But this is to prove the point or show the point of how drastic seed treatment was this last year. Okay. This was in Northfield, Minnesota. Didn't hide any names. I mean, this stuff is on the website. You can go pull this. It's not, we're not hiding it from anybody out there, but it shows the point of how crucial seed treatments were this year. And again, are you going to see that kind of a yield swing every time? No, of course not. But again, that is how important seed treatment can be here to making sure that we start out healthy and stay right. Who wouldn't want another 18 bushel, or even you take that in half, you take that into a quarter, who wouldn't want that kind of a yield bump, right? For a pretty small ROI, I mean, you start talking, maybe a bushel of cost, depending on what seed treatment package you have on there. You're going to get at minimum, you're probably going to get a 4-to-1 return, right? If anybody had money on the game last night, this is a safer bet than that. Okay. So stoplight chart here, just to kind of show the CruiserMax Vibrance Dynasty. So this is our YP Pro. And again, the change this year is it is powered by CruiserMax. So coming from Syngenta, we did make a switch there on the soybean side. What we did have our supplier and go on to CruiserMax Vibrance. So time-tested product, in our opinion, the best and premium product out there on the industry. It's been around a long time, but again, it speaks for itself because of the protection it gives us. So again, not, trying to badmouth anybody here, but, we look at what compared to the competitor, right? And again, if you're Legend seed dealer, employee, customer, prospect, and you say, well, why should I use that product versus this one? Well, there's a lot of good reasons here. So you go right down the line here of whether Phytophthora pithium, Rhizophthora fusarium, seedborne sclerotia, just visual vigorating, the aphid side of it here. You look at the check marks there of excellent to good to fair rating on these products here. And it's why we have so many different fungicides in here, because they all do something right or bring something to the table. But again, when you start looking at what the maximum 4FS here, or the Flutie does here, down the line here for a lot of the stuff here, the CruiserMax in general, the Apron here for Phytophthora and Pythium. But we just go right down the line and we look at the control and the protection we have, some of the best out there. If we look at our basics, so this would just be the Vibrance Trio, and we added a little bit more into this here too. So we have a little bit better red color, but then also just a little bit more protection here on our basics. So again, our YP basic, compared now, this is a BASF product here, but again, same thing here. So 3 modes of action on the fungicide, and then so no insecticide on this. Again, this is just fungicide here. But the Apron, the Max, and the Vibrance. And again, you go across the line here, and again, excellent, good, fair ratings compared to some of the industry out there. What else is out there? Much better control and protection here, and a lot of it can be season-long control or help on some of this product, on some of these diseases as well. Again, so just some of the packaging that our product comes in, YP Pro. it's 3.8 ounces. So the other thing is that one big thing that was, help kind of push through the edge of wanting to switch this year, lower use rates from what we were compared to. So 3.8 ounces, 3.87 ounces per 100 pounds on the Pro. Basics 1.55. So per unit of seed, I think it's like 0.77 or 0.78 or whatever on the basic. On the Pro, you're basically 1.8 there, 6, 7, 8, under 2 ounces. Again, so that's what that's helping do is that, one, our dry time is better. We're not as sticky, but two, it leaves room for some other products, right? There was times where with some of our old treatment, by the time you put inoculant, SoyFX, and some other stuff on there, you're pushing 5, 6 ounces, right? Well, that's too much product to be able to put onto 100 pounds of seed, right? It gets to be too wet. So another big reason why we made that switch there is our usage rate or application is lower. YP Pro is in 30-gallon kegs, Basics in 15-gallon kegs. The Rhizolic, again, you have the 40-unit bladder or 400-unit bladder there. Again, 3/4 of an ounce per unit, or 1.5 per 100 pounds. Saltro, if you're looking for sudden death and some assist protection there, very, very good on the SDS side of it. Again, 0.715 per unit. That's in 2.5-gallon kegs. And then the SoyFX, which is our biological there, again, helps increase yield potential. Just more of a pod set, larger beans. We've kind of gone through the story on that here before too a little bit, but that's an ounce a unit. So again, if you're going to go with the whole meal deal, you got an ounce we're under that 5. We're down there where we want to be, so we have room for other product on there by having our base treatment be a little bit lower on our overall usage there. As we kind of wrap up here, so if you're looking for seed treatment or been thinking about anything, as always, get a hold of your local Legend Seeds rep, whether it's LAM or your dealer that's in the area. We have more information again on the website, or contact one of your reps or the agronomist in the area too, and they can obviously help you with more information. I definitely appreciate everybody taking some time out of their Monday morning here. I know they can be hectic, but appreciate taking some time here to jump on with us and go over seed treatments a little bit. Again, if you have more questions or comments, you can get a hold of myself, but otherwise reach out to your local LAM or Legend rep or LSA that are in your area, and then they are the local experts and they can help walk you through any of this as well. And again, if you're dealers, definitely get out and promote seed treatment this spring yet, or as we get into spring, and if your customers or prospects on here too. And again, if you haven't used something in the past or want to try something new, definitely take a look at it. There's a lot of stuff out there, and we try and sort through it for you to bring you the best products available that we can to the market. So sounds like 3 cold days coming up here through the upper Midwest. So stay warm, be safe out there. And again, thank you everybody for being on here.